line before.
This is Keir Starmer vowing to let communities take back control in Labour's first term. It's an extraordinary piece of political agility, isn't it?
What, nicking someone else's slogan?
Nicking the arch Brexit slogan.
Yeah.
He was, of course, the arch Islington Remainer who campaigned for a second referendum.
Yes, he did.
It's an outrageous act of chutzpah.
And is that why you think he's done it? To try and say,
unquestionably. Peter Mandelson was on the radio earlier on today saying what a stroke of genius it was, and I suspect he might be right.
Well, if you've got Peter Mandelson's approval, he doesn't normally do appearances during the day because he's in his coffin. But what do you think about this, Leo? I mean, this is I mean, it is chutzpah, isn't it?
It is chutzpah and it is a slogan. I mean, Keir seems to be very good at making these sort of quite votable slogans. You know, he says the right thing on immigration, the NHS, now taking back control. But will it actually translate into anything meaningful or substantive on the ground? And also, I mean, he's talking about communities taking back control. Devolution has been an absolute disaster.
It has.
Like in Scotland, it's just created this satellite state that's,
and in provincial England as well. It's proved unpopular and ineffective.
So this is so English people hate the fact, they resent the fact that Scotland's got its own parliament that just leeches off them and hates so much, sends so much hate to Westminster. And also it means Scotland is now governed incredibly badly. We used to have good politicians. Scots used to run a lot of the UK. There was a lot of top Scots in the government, and now we don't have it because we've created this insular state.
There are some people who argue for an English parliament, don't they, as well? But that's not what they're talking about here. They're talking about like moving power away from Westminster to local communities.
Yeah, and of course opposition leaders traditionally have always promised to devolve power.
Yeah.
Because they haven't yet got it, but actually historically they then tend to accrue power.
I mean, the argument is that it is good for democracy, insofar as if you've got more control in your local area.
I'd be all for it, and I think you could argue that the local authorities have had power removed from them since, well, the 70s, perhaps, certainly under Thatcher.
Having worked in government, local government, I've got to say devolving power to local communities is a terrible idea because local governments are always just completely inept.
Yeah.
Really,
and
at least
corrupt, often frightfully
very corrupt, and they don't have the oversight that Westminster does. So Westminster, at least, I mean, even though they seem terrible, it's the best you're going to get.
Well, also, local authorities are particularly captured by the woke ideology at the moment. They're the ones that are really pushing forward this sort of stuff with no scrutiny from above. So I don't know, giving more power to these people is a particularly sensible idea.
And also, of course, it tends to be power without responsibility, in that they're not tax-raising, and consequently, just like the Scottish government, they don't get it in the neck for their spendthrift policy.
But again, how does this compare? Keir Starmer's statement, so he's going to take back control. How does this compare to Rishi Sunak's New Year's statement? His 5 major goals. It all seems quite vague. I mean, he basically said, "I pledge to achieve the things that will happen anyway, even if I don't do anything."
We live in an age of political pygmies, tragically.
Rishi's pledges were the least ambitious, the least shooting for the stars pledges I've ever seen. He's like, I'm going to try not to kill you. I'm going to try not to make big holes in the road. It was all just...
Well, he also said, we're going to achieve all of these things, or we won't. We might not, we'll see. We'll see what happens. That was effectively what he said.
Starmer was non-specific, of course. But why would he be? Because, of course, all you want at this stage is mood music. Yeah. I mean, it's falling into his lap, so why rock the boat?
Oh, he doesn't. He should just do a Biden and stay in a basement and not actually campaign.
Yes,
because he will win that one.
I mean, tragically, though, he's so without charisma, he could be reading the Gettysburg Address and he'd still sound like a provincial deputy head.
Yes, although
raiding the Year 10 running in the college. It's just his tone.
Yeah, but Rishi Sunak is hardly Peter Euston.
Oh, he's the head boy in the same provincial. Awful. PMQs is so dreary now.
OK, we're going to